Welcome to our soap, Art Saturdays, and this week I decided to take a look at Dudley Do-Right, starring Brendan Fraser as our titular character, a Canadian Mountie of the Royal, Mounted Police, who's out there stopping Snidely Whiplash, who likes to tie, Nell, a damsel in distress, to train tracks on a rather regular basis, because the lulz, okay? When you're the bad guy, that's reason enough in a cartoon.
Me? Isn't it obvious? I'm gonna be the bad guy. Why? Because the bad guy is all the fun. And if you're the bad guy, you get to do stuff like this.
To be fair, when it comes to movies, the bad guy is usually the most memorable part in the film in a lot of cases. Like, just think of Demolition Man. Like, if you think about that movie, if you've watched it, usually you think of Wesley Snipes' character, Simon Phoenix, a lot more than, Sylvester Stallone's character. Like, Wesley Snipes just tends to own the scenes he's in. Totally. So yeah, being the bad guy can definitely give you a memorable role in Hollywood, and I can understand, why the guy that plays Snidely Whiplash probably wanted it. He's like, this can be my way to, break out into, a big role, well, bigger than I've been for a while, maybe, because, villains tend to be a lot more memorable in a lot of these films than the good guy. The problem is this film wants to try and be some sort of, like, slapstick satire thingy-bob, it just feels weird narratively, and it just doesn't feel like it fully works. I mean, the film might be surface level amusing with all of its, slapstick with the loose boards flying up and hitting people in the face.
For a Mountie is always brave and strong and cool. Let's try that again, shall we? A Mountie is always brave and strong and...
Assuming the slapstick doesn't make you just absolutely cringe in pain. So, yeah, like, I got mild amusement out of this, but at the same time, I could easily just get up and go do something else and not really feel like I was missing out on much. So, yeah, like, it's not as bad as I think some people make it out to be, but maybe that's because they hate slapstick, way more than I do. I tend to find it more mildly annoying if it's not done well, or just tiring, if it gets done too much. It's like, try and, be a bit witty, and all the dry wit tended to go to the narrator in this film. So yeah, it's not the worst film ever. Like, I guess if I had to give it a rating out of 10, it'd be like a 4 or 5, it's just in that meh average kind of feel, like a letter grade of like a C minus, like, it's not terrible, but one does have to ask, because it does a good job representing its source material, and that's where people probably argue it fails really hard, because, like I said, it wants to be like a satire of the source material. Ugh. The sad parts, are we just don't really feel like we have a Dudley Do-Right, I guess. We have a Dudley Do-Wrong, which might have a certain charm to it if you try and say it in a French pronunciation, but
it's kind of French, Dudley Do-Wrong.
At the same time, that's not, who our titular character is. He's the good guy. He should follow the rules and arrest the bad guys while riding his horse backwards. And quite frankly, the horse is hardly in the film. Oof. And we get hardly any scenes, of Dudley riding the horse backwards. Oof. It's just another oof. So yeah. Like, if you're a big fan of the original cartoon, this might be even more painful for you than, if you just come into it being, a random slapstick comedy film, You're like, what did they do to my characters from my childhood? What did they do? So yeah, watch it if you want, but I can't see myself revisiting this one, besides maybe the clips with Snidely, talking about how, what you can get away with when you're the bad guy, or complaining about, Dudley being the bad guy and getting to do all the fun bad guy stuff.
He's becoming the bad guy. Where does that leave me? I used to be the bad guy. If he's capable of doing this, who knows what other really fun bad guy stuff he's been doing.
I mean, those are probably some of the best bits of the movie, which is kind of sad. Until next time, then. See ya.
That's not fair! All we've got are these machine guns.